Ever heard of Rosa Parks? Of course you have. Her brave act on a Montgomery bus in 1955 is a cornerstone of the civil rights movement. But what if I told you that 9 months before Rosa Parks, a 15-year-old girl did the exact same thing on the very same bus system and her story was almost lost to history? Today we're talking about the incredible and often overlooked Claudette Colvin. It's March 2nd, 1955 in Montgomery, Alabama. Imagine being 15, heading home from school on a crowded city bus. Young Claudette Colvin and her friends are sitting in the colored section. As the bus fills up, a white woman is left standing. The driver shouts back, "Give me those seats." Three of Claudette's friends get up, but Claudette refuses. She felt two hands on her shoulders, Sojourner Truth and Harriet Tubman, and she couldn't move. She knew her rights. She had paid her fare, and she wasn't sitting in the white section. Why should she have to give up her seat? Her defiance was powerful. She told the driver, "It's my constitutional right to sit here as much as that lady. I paid my fare. It's my constitutional right." Think about the courage that took for a teenager in the segregated South. The police were called, and Claudette was forcibly dragged off the bus, kicking and screaming that her rights were being violated. She was handcuffed, arrested, and thrown in jail. A 15-year-old girl, alone in an adult jail cell, terrified but resolute. When news of Claudette's arrest reached civil rights leaders like Martin Luther King Jr., they were initially energized. This was the case they had been waiting for to challenge segregation laws. But then they hesitated. Claudette was young, she was from a poor family, and a few months after her arrest, she became pregnant. The leaders worried that the press would use these details to discredit the movement. They decided she wasn't the right face for their cause. They wanted someone who was, in their eyes, more respectable. So they waited. 9 months later, Rosa Parks, a respected secretary for the NOC, performed her historic act of defiance. Her calm demeanor and unimpeachable character made her the ideal symbol for the Montgomery bus boycott. The movement rallied around her, and her story became legendary. Claudette's, meanwhile, faded into the background. But her story doesn't end there. While she wasn't the face of the boycott, Claudette Colvin was a crucial player. Behind the scenes, she became one of the four brave women who were plaintiffs in the landmark federal court case Browder v. Gale. It was this case, not the boycott itself, that ultimately ruled bus segregation unconstitutional. During the trial, Claudette gave powerful testimony, directly challenging the legality of segregation. Her voice, once silenced, was now being heard in the highest courts. And they won. The Supreme Court upheld the ruling, officially ending segregation on public transportation in Alabama. For decades, Claudette Colvin lived in relative obscurity, her contribution largely unacknowledged. People in her own community sometimes shunned her. She moved to New York City and worked as a nurse's aide for 35 years, quietly living her life. She rarely spoke of her past, feeling that her community had thrown her away like a bad penny. But history has a way of finding the truth. In recent years, authors, historians, and journalists have rediscovered Claudette's story, finally giving her the recognition she deserves. In 2021, at the age of 82, she had her juvenile delinquency record expunged, with the judge calling her actions a courageous stand for justice. Claudette Colvin's story is a powerful reminder that history is complex and that heroes come in all shapes, sizes, and ages. She proves that even when the world isn't ready to see you, one brave act can still change everything. Thank you for joining us to uncover this incredible piece of history. If you learned something new today, please hit that like button and subscribe for more stories that deserve to be told. See you next time.